to come back to the normal working life, and therefore we're going to dig deeper into that, assess why this is so, and perhaps what shifts businesses and workplaces, companies need to be making to ensure that they accommodate this needs and of course gain the benefits of it. And joining me for this particular discussion is Grace Nzula, HR professional and consultant and learning and development coordinator for the Institute of Human Resource Management, as well as Grace Kaume, who's the manager, HR and admin at the Federation of Kenya Employees. And then we have Microsoft country manager of Kenya, Kendi Nderitu. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us on the show this morning. Okay, so let's just get into it. And when it comes to this discussion, there has been a report, the Microsoft Work Index report, and I'll start with you, Ms. Nderitu. Could you tell us what this necessitated, this report, and what were the major points that came out of it that people need to be focusing on, particularly people in the business world?
Thank you for the question, and good morning. So as we expected, when we got into 2020, we didn't think that expected. And so as we kept going and there was need to have remote learning, remote working, remote everything, we saw a trend where businesses and enterprises or organizations were forced, or institutions were forced to adopt remote engagement. We, as because of tools that support remote engagement, whether it's working from home, learning from home, and all of that. And what we began to see over time is picking some of the trends that we could see through the systems, through our tools, through LinkedIn. We were able to identify behaviors and trends that were becoming concerning. And beyond that, we then did a survey around January this year, where we surveyed over 30,000 professionals or working people in about 30 countries to just understand beyond is what we were seeing, is the analysis we were getting from the remote working tools. Was there any truth to it? And so that is how the report came to be. The Work Index report then was generated, and that's what formed the basis of the output that we gave in it.
Okay, and I'll give this one over to Grace Nzula. You're an HR professional. When you look at this report, it says that the next great disruption is hybrid work. And the question is, are we ready? It actually says that 46% of the workforce is planning to move because they can now work home. And basically what this pandemic has done is made us realize that it can actually work. From your line of work, what have you witnessed that actually gives credence to these numbers that are being given in this report?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I would wish to confirm that it is true. We are experiencing the hybrid environment, and is the country ready? Yes and no.
Okay.
The guys who are front runners, so to speak, have already adopted working from home. A while back, about 3-4 years ago, all our conferences, we were talking about the future of work. Now, turns out the future of work is today. Mm-hmm. Are we ready? All of us? No. I see the cases of manufacturers, for example, who cannot really have a hybrid environment right now. You cannot carry a plant and take it home. So they have to work from the office.
Yeah.
But then you have the knowledge workers who are comfortable working from home. But we also have productivity issues because some offices at home are not comfortable. Mm-hmm. We have the issues of domestic violence, for example.
Yes.
Where there's the victims seek solace in the workplace, and then they are here being told to work from home. So are we ready? Not entirely. Are we getting ready? Absolutely.
And I'd like Grace Kaome, a manager, an HR and an admin for the Federation of Kenya Employees, to tell us what would it take for us to actually embrace this so-called future of the workplace, the hybrid workforce rather.
Great. Thank you very much for that question. And for those who have spoken before me, we're actually right in saying that the hybrid is the way to go, but it actually takes a lot of investments from all angles, and especially from the employers. You realize that when the pandemic came, employers had to react immediately to respond to the safety concerns of the employees, and especially to keep them safe and healthy, even to enable them to continue to the next phase of work. So what it requires is agility, for employers to quickly invest in the right places, for businesses to look at the right models of work, to look at the models that will take them into the future, to look at what businesses make sense even as we get into the future. Some may have to recast how they do their things, some may have to change some of the services they have had, the products, how they even sell those products to the market. So what it takes is a lot of agility, is a lot of innovation, is a lot of creativity, and that will involve businesses working together with the partners, the consultants they have, but also a lot working with their own employees, because these employees have ways that, and ideas that they can bring on board to help these businesses make decisions that are futuristic. Yeah. So it's a lot of partnerships internally and externally, and a lot of innovation.
Okay. And Ms. Neritu, let's talk about connectivity, because for a lot of these jobs that people have to do, they have to factor in connectivity, and internet penetration in Kenya is quite good compared to the rest of Africa, but at the same time we are not there yet when you compare to some of the countries in the Far East and in the West. So with that in focus, tell us about what it would take, and even given this, does this report indicate how this would factor in the in the African space?
So thank you for the question. One of the things, even from a Kenyan perspective, one of the initiatives government has taken, which we must give credit to government for, is proactively trying to connect as well. And like you rightly said, Kenya is ahead in terms of connectivity. Are we there yet? Like even for
Ms. Neritu, we seem to be having a problem with your audio. I can see you clearly, but you keep breaking, so we'll try and fix that. So hold on to that thought. But before we could get the thoughts of Ms. Nzula on this one, tell us what you think about our readiness, because it takes good internet to actually just be able to do some of those things, and that would be one of the challenges. But of course, I also want you to touch on some of the more concerning issues that you even mentioned earlier on. One of domestic violence and the comfort of being able to work at home. Let's say for a mom who has kids running around, it might not be as practical. So dig deeper into that.
We are fortunate right now because most major towns in Kenya have internet. Now the challenge we have is the rural areas. If you go to where they are farming tea, and you ask the tea farmers to work from home, it's not practical. However, in major towns, it's really not a concern right now. The only challenge we have is employers have to really invest in the infrastructure. One of the employers was telling me that I don't have a choice because I don't have laptops for everyone. So that requires a major investment. And right now, the economy is not supporting that. So there are a few concerns here and there. Obviously, the home setup, if you read the DOSH Act, this is health and safety. They require certain parameters to make an office. And then you're here and you have to work on your couch because you really don't own a dining table. So that means that your back will hurt, and that means occupational diseases may be on the rise. Not to mention, we miss interacting with people. And allow me to talk from an African point.
Yeah.
We are a community. We love interacting with people. We want to come and touch. We want to come and shake hands. And here we are told you not only can not go to the office, but you cannot even touch. Mm-hmm. You cannot hold hands. So it's really posing a few challenges. But I think agility and the willingness to forge ahead will really help us, because we can't fight it.
Yeah.
You know, we can't fight it. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, and the wheels, that train has already left the station. It's up to us to adopt. And Ms. Kaume, could you tell us, in your view, because the report indicates that the challenges and the benefits are closely linked. So when you talk about remote work provides flexibility during the pandemic while also blurring the work-life boundary, that is a very real problem. Have you experienced this with the people you interact with? And how would one deal with this if we go full throttle on this one?
Thank you very much. And it's true that remote work has provided both pros and cons.
Yeah.
What has happened is that people have had the advantage of being at home. I'll give a case of, you know, our young mother who possibly has children who are 6, 7 years. So this mother now has this chance to stay at home, make breakfast for the children, possibly escort the children to school, then come back, work from home, and be able to get work done, but at the same time watch over how that house is doing. But what has happened is that with remote working, some people have not had boundaries, and some of the work has extended into their life. So people do not necessarily stop to work at 5, what they would ordinarily do in the office. So we found people extending, working longer hours. We have found some people not being able to create that boundary between work and life. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because people have actually also been found to be at home during the day and working from home, but that's a time that probably relatives also think it's time to visit. Yeah. So they think, you know, for as long as you're home, you should be available.
Yes.
So there has been that mix. But what we are calling upon is really a lot of help from the organizations that these people are coming from, to help them know that, yes, work will get done, but there is also a life to be lived. So create some boundaries, create breaks, have time when it is time for work, when it's time to take those breaks, know what you're being measured on so you deliver on the results, address things like the psychosocial issues, because we are seeing people also finding themselves too lonely, at home and not knowing who to reach out to. So there are very many blurred boundaries, but employers are playing a critical role to facilitate these employees to work from home. So there's constantly someone who's reaching out to these employees and finding out how they are doing and ensuring that they are being as productive as they can.
Yes. Speaking of productivity, Ms. Nerito, I'm hoping we have your audio fixed so that I can get your opinion on that worry that has been indicated in this report for employees who feel like their hard work will not be seen by their employers because they're working remotely. Elaborate this and perhaps what solutions could be there for such companies so that they can actually monitor how their employees are working and their progress, and that they're actually making good use of the time they have in their hands.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. So when we look at a worry that one's effort is not being done, it's actually a real worry, because when people look around and show what they're doing, currently you're looking at space and it is assumed that you're working. So you need to be able to either give visibility into what you're doing, or it's perceived that you're not doing stuff. So the worry is legitimate itself. So as leaders, it can be done. Acknowledging that we have moved into the hybrid way of working, as my colleague stated previously, is a first place to be able to start and empower the employees be their best and productive in that environment.
Okay. Okay, and the roles of managers are as well and leaders are evolving to adapt to these challenges of remote work. I would imagine while the one employee would be worried that their work is not being seen, Ms. Nzula, I'd imagine there would be a boss